I don't know if they're gonna like that one. Look at me, just being another person on the internet sharing her opinion. Yay. Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Bree. If you are new here, I actually just got back from the gym. I am hanging out with the babe, as you can tell by the cartoons on the TV. It does have classical music going on too, but I have that low because honestly I get so overstimulated with the sounds of children cartoons on all the time. Anyways, I'm about to make a shake and also eat the rest of my cookies. They're the cinnamon brown sugar Belvita. These taste like graham crackers and they are so good. In this video, I will be going over 3 pieces of advice that I believe would just make new parenthood that much easier. But honestly, we can all get in on this advice. This is just great generic advice for anybody. Everybody needs to hear it at least once. So if you have not heard it before, you are going to hear it here. So let's chit chat while I make this shake because I'm hungry. So the first thing is going to be, do not compare your kids to other kids. That is such a huge one, and I know a lot of people say that, and it's really honestly kind of hard to do. I feel like it's very easy for us to get into this habit of always comparing one kid to another, especially as a new parent, because you don't know if what you're doing is like right and if your kid is on the right path and stuff like that. You can always ask a professional if there is a serious concern that you do have for your kids. Say you're worried about your kid's speech, you know, and if they're talking as much as they should be talking, or if you're worried about their gross motor skills. There are professionals for this type of stuff, so you can always reach out to them. Do not compare your kid to other kids. Every kid is on their own timeline. They do their own thing. It's a pretty broad range for a reason. And as a new parent, you also need to remember, just because your kid might have done something later than another kid or done something sooner than another kid, it's not gonna matter by the time that they're 18 and graduating high school and going to college and finding a job and all this other stuff. Nobody cares if you started walking at 2 months, and nobody cares if you started walking at 2 years. As long as you're doing it and things get on track, like I said, if you're worried about it, talk to a professional. One thing I found really difficult being a first-time mom was the eating stuff. You know, they start solids and you're like, my kid eats everything. Everything that I hand them, everything that I feed them, everything I'm eating, they're eating. It's great, it's perfect, it's amazing. And then they get a little bit older and you find yourself wondering what the heck happened to that kid and why they're not eating anything but air for dinner. It's happening to me. My oldest is about to be 2 years old in a couple of weeks, and that man goes on these binges of only wanting stuff like protein waffles, applesauce, and mac and cheese. That's it. That's literally it. I put everything that we eat in front of him. He is not interested whatsoever. There's nothing I can do about it. That's totally natural. It's totally normal. And I just find ways to like hide things in his food, which is something I never thought I would do as a parent, to be completely honest with you, because I was so convinced that my kid was a great eater, and he still is. You know, he's not a terrible eater. He just has preferences, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have preferences too. The only thing I can do as a parent when it comes to feeding my children is putting food in front of them enough times per day. You know, like that's really it. I can't force them to eat these things. That's all them. And I'm not gonna make them eat this stuff either, because I don't want them to hate me or hate the food because mom made me eat it. I just gotta let it be. Let it ride out. I messed up and put the liquid in last. And then my second piece of advice to share is, don't compare yourself as a parent to other parents. You are going to make decisions that fit you, that work for you, and that's okay. You're not going to be the same as your best friend. You're not going to be the same as your mom and your auntie and your cousin. You're not going to do the same things. And that's the one thing you got to remember. You are living a different life than these other people, especially these people you see on the internet. Just because they got it like something don't mean you gotta have it like that. You know what I'm saying? That is not always going to be accessible. Just because you see them doing it, just because they say they did it, does not mean you also have to be doing it. This is something I definitely had a lot of trouble with when I first became a parent, because I had all of these preset expectations that I thought I would be meeting if I was to mirror other parents. And I felt like the fact that I wasn't doing these things the same way, that I wouldn't get the same result kind of thing. But again, don't compare your kids, and definitely don't compare the way that you parent to other people. A specific topic that comes to mind when I shared this piece of advice is screen time. When it comes to screen time, like I said, you gotta do what you gotta do. I know I don't have the accessibility to have family members come and give me a break. So honestly, I do let the TV and the screens babysit my kids sometimes, because I need that. I need that break. I need that time to recuperate and to, you know, get my myself space to deal with whatever I gotta deal with too. What kind of mom would I be if I was always overstimulated, if I was always stressed out, having anxiety attacks and everything else, you know? Like I said, I don't have the accessibility for extra hands and extra help all the time. Yes, my husband is here, but he works, you know, 9 hours a day. Tired by the time he gets home too, and he does do a great job of helping me out when he can, but there's only 2 of us. So there's only so much that I'm willing to ask him to do. To be completely honest, yeah, heck yeah, I let my kids use screens. Not only that, but I'm not ignorant to the fact that they just are a part of our lives now, you know? Like, I don't want my kids to see screens and think, oh, this is some special occasion. Screens are a part of our lives now. You can't go anywhere without seeing a screen, and I do have boundaries around screen time. Like, I try not to do any kind of TV right before bed, just so that way they can sleep better, but there's only so much I can do with that too, especially when I'm by myself doing bedtime routine with 2 kids, a newborn and a toddler. Ooh, Lord, only so much I can do with that. If you have the time and the energy and the finances and the resources to always have something for your kids to do, great, awesome, happy for you. But we all don't have that. We all don't have those luxuries. As much as I've tried to be that parent, it's exhausting, to be honest, and it doesn't fulfill me in any way, shape, or form. So that's just not something I'm willing to put myself through often to please others, I guess, because I couldn't care less about people's judgment about me having my TV on all the time. If I had the accessibility to have extra hands a lot of the time, I probably wouldn't need to depend on screen time as much as I do, but I don't have it like that, so I do what I can with what I have. And that's what parenting mostly is. At the end of the day, you're doing what's best for you, you're doing what's best for your kids, and as long as your kids know that you love them and they were cared for and taken care of, they got a roof on their head, food in their bellies, some things to play with, I don't feel like there's anything else that would matter, because they're not going to remember how much screen time they were allowed to have or weren't allowed to have. Growing up, I know I had a lot of screen time, and I wouldn't say that I'm addicted to screens or anything like that. I just think that they are a part of my life, and I do feel that the more we make screens a special occasion, the more our kids will gravitate to them, the more they will want them. When my son wants to watch TV, he gets to watch TV. If he wants to go outside, we'll go outside. It's just a part of our lives, and I have no problem with that. It's always been a part of my life, and I'm gonna say that thing, you guys. I was a screen time kid, and I turned out just fine. It is what it is, y'all. Do what you gotta do for you, for your kids, and for your family, and everything will be okay. Another thing that I used to get really down and out on myself about is that I felt like I had this expectation put on myself by nobody else that I'm supposed to keep a clean house all the time just because I live in it. I don't know where that came from. Maybe just the fact that, you know, I see these other moms on the internet and their house looks decent all the time, like put together and whatnot, that I had to do the same thing. That got tiring quick. I asked my husband, I was literally picking up the same toys 15 times an hour because I felt like it needed to be in this spot, but it kept getting moved because my kid's playing with it. Like, I would never take it away from him or anything like that. It was just in between naps. Things have to look this way. Right before bed, the whole house has to be picked up. It's just not a realistic expectation. It's not doable for the amount of energy that I have, the number of hands that I have, and the time of day that is given, you know? Like, it's just not possible to maintain a perfectly organized and put up house every single day when you have kids. And that was something I had to snap out of because I wanted to be superwoman in that sense of keeping my house constantly clean. So now I pick and choose my battles. If there is anything having a second kid has done for me, it has definitely helped me refine that fact that I am not superwoman. I am just human. I do have certain amounts of energy per day. I do have a certain amount of time per day to do things that I want to do, and I should not be spending it trying to uphold this expectation that my house is perfectly clean all the time. That was definitely one of those things that I had to get over for myself, and to stop comparing myself to other people. Honestly, the content that I put out and my house looks clean, I probably cleaned it up right before I made that content. I know I've caught myself and I've laughed at myself because I'm like, okay, I gotta clean this up. I gotta make this look a certain way before I press the record button. Guilty. And for whatever reason, I didn't think that these people were doing the same thing. So yeah, that one had to go. No longer interested in this idea that my house is always perfect, because it's not. We live here. We have 2 kids now. Things just get done when they're supposed to get done. Things get done when they are able to get done. And then this last thing. This piece of advice is given out to a lot of people all the time. And I think it's interesting because when we say this piece of advice, we mean well, right? I'm gonna say that. I think that's what most of us mean. That's what I'm gonna mean when I say this. This third thing is, do not judge others for what they do choose to do. As I've already said, there are things that I do and couldn't care less that other people don't do. There are things that I don't do that I couldn't care less that other people do. But the thing is, even when we say we don't care, it sometimes does kind of come off judgy, and I feel like that's just like the nature of the beast. I know there are people who mean well when they say certain things and they share certain things. I feel like personally they're judging me because of the way that they're saying things or the things that they're just simply saying. I feel like that's just human nature, is to one, say things that sound judgy, and two, take things and think that we're being judged. To judge and to be judged. This piece of advice for me is more like, just be nice about it. If somebody doesn't ask for an opinion, don't give it to them. If you're excited about something, it is okay to ask for permission to say those things, because the person might really genuinely not care to hear it or might not be in a place to hear it. Specifically when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the people who have never been in the person's shoes that they're talking to, and just have this idea that they know how it's going and how it's supposed to go and see that it's not going that way. It's those ones that I'm specifically talking to when I'm talking about this. I personally do not think that there is anyone more judgmental in this world than somebody who does not have a child. Am I making sense talking about this one? I really hope so, because I don't think many people mean harm when they share things and say things, specifically to new parents. But to be honest, nobody wants the opinion of somebody who hasn't been through what they've been through. These people might have seen some things and think they know something about it. Parenting is hard. I don't care what anyone says. Parenting is hard in the sense of like physically doing it. No, I'm not saying, you know, taking care of a child is hard. I'm not saying changing a diaper is hard. Putting them down for sleep can be hard. There are moments and there are bits and pieces of it that are not hard. I'm saying the collective experience of being a parent is hard. It would be in that person's best interest to not say a word, because I do not feel more hostile than I do towards somebody who I know has never been in my shoes and has every opinion about what I'm doing. Do us a favor, and stay out of my business, because genuinely, no one asked. I sure would not be asking you what you would do in my situation when I know for a fact you've never been close to my situation. That just doesn't even make sense. And yet there are people out there who just think that their opinion is gold and they want to share it with everybody. Good for you, friend. Good for you. I didn't ask. But yeah, I'll be wrapping this video up now because I need to go put this man down for a nap. To the parents watching this video, I want to know, what's some advice that you would give other people that might be coming into parenthood or maybe thinking about parenthood themselves, as well as me. Like I said, I'm only 2 years into this thing and I do not claim being an expert on this stuff. If you have found anything useful in this video, please be sure to hit that like button. It really supports my channel, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video from me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.